Hello, it is Tuesday. US miles driven, 12-month total on all the roads. Going back to 1971 calculated risk chart. Let's have a quick look through it, because recessions, the light blue bars, do actually slow down the total miles driven. You can see the first one in 74 did, and across the late 70s, early 80s, which was the... Excuse me. I won't cut that out. I hope it doesn't disrupt us too much. There were restrictions on fuel. The price of gas went up an awful lot, and there were times where you couldn't get it at all. So it did slow things down an awful lot. The next recession, 91, put a little speed bump in things. 2001, the dot-com crash, didn't really affect anything. It was all on the up and up. But look what's happened at the top there. There's a little tick up, and that little tick up people have been getting excited about. Right at the end, you see it's actually gone up, I imagine because that's been a really decent weather over the last month in the United States. But you can see the effect now. There does seem to be an almost over-the-peak type thing. Now, we've got to think, is this going to be an over-the-peak and it's going to go down? That's one scenario. Is it kind of going to go flat, or is it going to just take off back up to where it normally goes, bottom left, top right, 45 degrees? And really, how likely now do we really think is that it's going to take off again and go bottom left, top righting again at 45 degrees? It really isn't likely at all, is it? Is it? Right. Total gas inventories in the United States. Now, I'll take you through up this river stream. The river stream, the blue, is the 5-year range for the top and bottom of gasoline inventories in the stock. The grey line is the average of those 5 years. The blue line with the triangles in it was last year, the gasoline inventories for last year. And you can see right at the end, OND, October, November, December, it actually was the upper limit to gasoline inventories. And coming into this year in red, round, spotty, it's well over the top of the inventories. So there is plenty of supply of gasoline. We've seen that there isn't a great demand for gasoline, but the price of gasoline is still going up. Now, why can this possibly be when the United States is the centre of the known universe? You tell me. I had some fun with this next one, number 3. The Pew Research Centre for the People and the Press. As gas prices pinch, support for oil and gas production grows. And we go to the first results of their poll. So we've got growing numbers see production of oil, coal and gas as more important energy priority. The questions thus, more important energy priority. Which is the more important energy priority? Developing alternative sources such as wind, solar and hydrogen. All the nice green things. Last year, March 2011, 63% said that was the nice way to go. This year, it's down to 52. Last year, 29% thought expanding exploration and production of oil, coal, and natural gas was the way to go. But now that's gone up to 39% this year. Not so much wanting the green stuff, it's, give me the energy, I want it now. Eh? And the more the crunch comes on, the more that those numbers will extensuate. Forget those fairy cake green ideas. Get me the black stuff. Be it coal or oil or gas, whatever you can lay your hands on. And this question goes, public continues to support broad range of energy policies. Government, these are government policies for addressing the nation's energy supply. Which do you favour or oppose? Requiring better fuel efficiency for vehicles. Hell yes. It's funny that Hell yes, everybody wants it, but still goes buying these gas-guzzling cars, trucks, etc. More funding for research on wind, solar and hydrogen. Yeah, let's have that. Allowing more oil, gas and drilling in US waters. Yeah, let's have that as well. Spending more on subway, rail and bus systems. Yeah, let's have that. They won't want to pay for any of this or have the inconvenience of it on their doorstep, but hell yes, let's have it. Giving tax cuts to energy companies for oil and gas exploration. Well, not so much. Promoting increased use of nuclear power. Not so much. Right, let's have another one. And this one absolutely astounded me. I'm rarely astounded, but how could... I just can't understand how people can be boxed so easily. They've been absolutely put in, boxed and cut up. You might see what I mean when we go through this. Support for fracking among those aware of the process. So the top questions are you aware or not aware of what fracking is? And on the bottom where we're going to go are only asking the people, obviously, that are aware of what fracking is. So they've heard about it, they know about it. Do you favour it or do you oppose it? Now, if you favour it, now, the people that favour it are 73% of Republicans. 73% of Republicans favour fracking. 33% of Democrats prefer fracking. What an enormous difference. The way you vote is absolutely bundled together with a question like that. I find that absolutely astounding. And obviously the flip side is the same. Republicans don't... Hey, we are men. Even if you're women, they're still men that don't oppose fracking. But the Democrats, oh, well, no, we don't like that sort of thing. It's utterly incredible. So 73% Democrats favour, 73 Republicans favour, 33 Democrats favour. 15 Republicans oppose, 52 Democrats oppose percent. Utterly incredible. How can voting intentions be carved up that clearly on an issue that's not in the slightest bit political? Utterly incredible. Right, let's go out into the real world. Kuwait. This is the Kuwait Times, sponsored by Canon. Kuwait. Oil prices should touch $109.50 per barrel, so that Kuwait can pay public sector salaries during the 2012-13 fiscal year as per current expenditure rates, remarked a senior cabinet official during a parliamentary session held on Thursday. News reports suggested that the cabinet managed to escape Thursday's session without revising salary scales further, other than the 25% general pay rise approved for the public sector last week. Yet the cabinet is obliged through a draft bill to commit to promises they made to the Customs and Kuwait Airlines employees. The same bill also includes a stipulation to form a joint committee between the Parliament's financial and legislative panels to study recommendations received about salary increases. So it's good that in 91 Storming Norman went in there and kicked ass. And now they're a reformed society. They've got a parliament and all that sort of thing, and government employees that need paying 25% pay increases. But that actually means that Kuwait will do everything it can to keep oil prices in the general world over $109 a barrel. Thank you, everybody. All seems to be working perfectly well. Over in Japan, another Japan reactor shuts down, only one left. Another Japanese reactor was taken offline for maintenance on Monday, leaving the country with only one of its 54 reactors operational following last year's devastating earthquake and tsunami. The last reactor is expected to be shut down by early May, raising the possibility of power shortages across the nation as demand increases in the hot summer months. They'll be allowed to go to work without their jackets on again and not wear ties, because they won't be getting any air conditioning. Bloomberg gives us shale boom in Europe fades as Polish wells come up empty. Poor Poland. Europe's best hope of a shale gas boom is fading as explorers in Poland confront rising taxes, a lack of rigs and rocks that are harder to drill than expected. While shale could help Poland lessen dependence on Russian supplies and cut its gas bill, a government proposal for a levy on production threatens to curtail investment. Failed wells by Exxon curbed the optimism that led 24 companies to grab licenses. The government said last week that shale gas reserves may be lower than estimated, and drilling a well costs almost 3 times as much as in the United States. Like in France, they've banned fracking, but it's interesting that they've apparently found really big, huge shale deposit, but it just happens to be under Paris. Yeah, you can't have everything, can you? Telegraph in the UK, our final clip is shale gas fracking could create 50,000 jobs. Mr. Brown says. Oh no, Lord Brown. Former BP chief executive, Lord Brown, said Lancashire could be the capital of Europe's emerging shale gas industry, which could create up to 50,000 jobs, and we read. Lord Brown, a director of shale gas fracking company Quadrilla, said in an interview with The Independent, a newspaper, Lancashire has huge potential. If they had the will, they could perhaps become the centre of the shale gas for Europe, much as Aberdeen became the centre of oil and gas for Europe. It's not unconceivable. Hydraulic fracturing, or fracking, is a controversial new technique that gives access to vast resources of gas trapped in shale rock at low cost. It has been responsible for a collapse in the US natural gas prices over the past 6 to 7 years. That's true. Lord Brown said he hoped the government will approve Quadrilla's plans to resume fracking. As director of the company, I'm sure he is. He says, we could potentially double the reserves of gas in the UK. We could add 50,000 jobs, maybe, and probably even reduce the price of gas. Quadrilla runs the UK's only fracking site near Blackpool, and operations were suspended last June following earthquakes in the area that have subsequently been directly attributed to Quadrilla's fracking. Energy. It's a problem. Bye.